Hey, welcome to the Texas Values Report. Jonathan Saenz, president of Texas Values. Great to be with you on a glorious week in the state of Texas. High school football starts this week, college football, and a whole bunch of other things. This show is about faith, family, and freedom. And sometimes it's about faith, family, freedom, and football. And I'm going to tell you why. There's an important court case that you need to know about that deals with the issue of Friday Night Lights. But listen, we've got a huge announcement, all right, that I want to make here live and be the first to really talk about it live if you haven't seen already. So I want to just check my Facebook feed here and see if I'm live, if we're live here on the Texas Values Facebook page, because I'm going to share this because I want to make sure that you're listening. How many people? We've got one person on right now, live at least. If you're watching on YouTube, you might already know about this once you watch this video. And if you are, click that little button, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I like to do this from time to time when there's something huge, right? A big announcement that we're going to talk about. You know that we've been talking about this event that we're having for quite a while, the Texas Faith Fest, as we're calling it now, the Faith, Family, and Freedom Policy Forum on September 13th and 14th. So today we're announcing breaking news. Michael Knowles is going to keynote our event. This guy, this gentleman, this national leader is a best-selling author. He is the host of the Michael Knowles Show, which is a daily show. I believe it's syndicated. I believe he was sitting in for Rush Limbaugh for a number of years and then really took off. He started the podcast Verdict with Senator Ted Cruz. He's got numerous books that are bestsellers. One, I don't think the book has any words in it. Have you seen this book? It's titled Reasons to Vote for Democrats. And it's like a book with a bunch of blank pages. And I think some footnotes at the end and citations. But he's got another book out, too, that's a bestseller. And look, he's spoken a few times here in Texas, but not very often. And if you haven't listened to his show, I'm telling you, it's fantastic, sensational. And he talks about a lot of the issues that we talk about. He certainly gets into a little bit of politics, what's going on in elections and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, President Donald Trump said some really nice things about one of his books. And so there's a quote that we put it out in our email. So you might have gotten an email from us just before the show came on about this announcement. Listen, this is probably one of the biggest speakers that we've ever had at this event, and it's been running now for, this is the seventh year. We're having our annual event on September 13th and 14th. What we did today, we put an email out with a special ticket price, okay? So Michael Knowles is probably one of the most well-known names out there when it comes to faith, family, and freedom, values issues, conservative politics, if you will. I think he's got some work called the Book Club that he does with PragerU. So tremendous amount of credibility in a short amount of time that he's rose to some real prominence and one of those important voices out there. But we sent an email out, and we're giving a discounted price, okay? Because we know there's going to be a huge response today. But we want to make it even more tempting and more of an easy decision for you to say, I'm making the decision today. I'm coming to the Texas Values, Texas Faith Fest event, and Michael Knowles is the clincher. But just to make it a little bit more tempting for you, we're knocking $5 off the general admission price. We might sell out by the end of the day, maybe by tomorrow. This is a deal that's just going on for 2 days. In light of our excitement about this huge announcement, I'm super excited. I've seen Michael Knowles speak before, but I actually didn't get to meet him. There was an event here in Williamson County. The Williamson County Republican Party had an event. I went to the event, couldn't stay that long, got to see him speak a little bit, and then had to leave. So I'm excited. But you know what is interesting to me? Is one of the biggest reasons I'm excited about having Michael Knowles keynote the Texas Values event on September 13th and 14th. This is our 2-day policy event. Is that my oldest son told me, Dad, if you get Michael Knowles to your event, you're like my hero. And I was like, I thought I was your hero already. No, I guess that's got to be updated every year, okay? But he was like smiling ear to ear. And he's in his first year of college, so he's going to come back in town and help with the event. But I was excited about it because, often we think about how can we reach more people, and how can we reach sometimes the younger demographic, if you will. So I try to come up with some great ideas. I didn't come up with this idea on my own. Other members of our team were involved in this, but it at least was an indication since my 18-year-old son was excited. I was like, okay, maybe this is a good decision, right? Maybe I'm getting his interest, and that means other young people will be interested as well. As a matter of fact, there's a member of our staff, Megan, Benton, who joined us in June and now is on full time, she told us a lot of young people really like Michael Knowles, what he says on his podcast, his daily show on the Daily Wire. And, he's just relevant during these times and very compelling, a smart guy. I believe he has his degree from Yale. And so, but I'm looking forward to hearing him speak. But we don't want you to miss out on it. Now, listen, when we put this event together every year, we try to have some new speakers that maybe weren't there before. Now, there's some carryover, some people that are just that important and that involved that you'll see some of that. But usually the majority of the lineup is completely different, at least from the previous year. Sometimes someone will be here 2 years ago and they're here again. Senator Cruz, I think, has been at this event 2, if not 3 times. Chip Roy, who's going to be speaking at our event, this will be his second time. But we try to give you something new because we know every year, things change. People are looking for something interesting. But remember, this event, the Texas Faith Fest on September 13th and 14th, is our effort to educate, motivate, and activate you on the issues of faith, family, and freedom. What does that mean? That means that you want to know what's going on right now in the state of Texas on the values issues. You're going to hear about that at our event. You want to know who are the people behind these issues, who's the most involved, who's a voice I can trust, who is a resource I can trust, whose lives are being touched by these issues. Macy Petty, who is a former collegiate athlete, she was an NCAA volleyball player, now works for Concerned Women for America. She is right there involved in the Save Women Sports issue. But this email that you got today, we gave a little bit of a discount on the price to make it even more worth your while. Let me lay this out to you, okay? For all of our Texas Values friends out there. If you've never been to this event that's in the heart of the Hill Country, that's what makes this part of Texas great, all right? The Hill Country is amazing. It's starting to cool off a little bit. There's a lot of opportunities to see this beautiful part of the state here in Central Texas, and so we want you to be a part of that. But the goal of the event really is once you leave, man, you just have this bounce in your step, this enthusiasm, this optimism, maybe some restored hope about our country and what you can do as a Texan on these issues, right? We're going to give you some of the best information on parental rights, religious freedom, pro-life. Coach Joe Kennedy, okay, I mentioned the Friday Night Lights in my intro. You have more freedom now on Friday night. Your kid who plays on the football team, the coaches, all of them, their religious freedom is stronger than it's ever been. And in many ways, it was restored to where it was 50 years ago before the Supreme Court made some really not wise decisions and set us back. That's been restored because Coach Joe Kennedy fought for 8 years to make sure that his right to pray on his own after a football game was protected. He lost his job. He got fired for taking a knee at the 50-yard line. Some people think, oh, well, you can take a knee, to kneel for the flag, but, oh, you take a knee to pray, that's a different subject. Should not be the case. Those are some fundamental freedoms that are there. And so Coach Joe Kennedy is going to speak at our event, right? Y'all know if you've listened to the show, watched the show, I did have a high school football player. He is now a college student and has moved on, so his football career, at least in that setting, is over. I think he's going to try to play intramurals. And look out for him, by the way, because that kid can spin the football when he plays quarterback, particularly when you don't have to worry about somebody busting you in the mouth. When he scoots around on the flag football field, he's going to be dangerous and have some fun. But I do have a cheerleader, all right? So this Friday night, my daughter, who's now in high school, and is on the varsity cheer team, she'll be on the sidelines. And so I appreciate how important those events are every Friday typically in Texas. And so Coach Joe Kennedy's going to talk about this issue and the impact it's had on him, some of his players. It's going to be incredible. But the event is 2 days, okay? You get lunch on both days. Chick-fil-A on Friday, okay? Saturday, we're going to have barbecue from a great place here in the Hill Country. Look, you couldn't buy Chick-fil-A and a barbecue lunch typically for $20 to begin with. That's the price of the whole event, okay? So you're going to get some of the best speakers. There's some free material that we're going to give you. It's from 10 o'clock to 4 on Friday and 9 a.m. to 4 on Saturday. Now, on Saturday morning, we've got a special prayer and coffee event just for pastors and church leaders. So if you want to come early on Saturday, it's an opportunity for that. But we've got over 30 speakers at the event, right? And so you might think, man, that probably, costs probably at least $100 just to get in, maybe $75. No. $20. Now, general admission is typically $25. We're knocking $5 off the price because we're so excited about this announcement about Michael Knowles that we want ticket sales to go through the roof, and I expect that they will today. Trust me, when we make announcements about big speakers, the ticket sales take off dramatically because people are excited just like we are. So do not miss this chance, okay? Get your ticket today before it sells out. Now, we do have a limited amount of student tickets, okay? So if you get that email or you want to forward it to somebody else and you know a student tickets are free while supplies last, okay? We only have a limited amount of those, but we want young people there. This is not a fundraising event. This is not a money-making event. We're hoping just to break even, okay, if you will, and cover some of our expenses, and we do have some generous underwriters. By the way, if you're hearing and seeing this announcement, you're like, oh my gosh, Michael Knowles and all the other speakers, this is going to be a big event. And you're thinking, hey, I might want to have a table or booth there so I can get some visibility for my business, show my support for this type of work, but also meet and greet some people. Check out our sponsor packages. It's on the event website, texasfaithfest.com. Also, if you got the email, there's a link, and you could have a booth. Our booth prices to be an exhibitor, extremely affordable. I think they're the lowest I've seen of any event because we're trying to make it that much easier for you to participate and, maybe just barely cover some of our costs, but give you a little incentive to do that. It may go up next year, okay? I'm just letting you know as this event gets bigger. I don't know if I can say this. Ashley, maybe give me a signal. We've got some national media types that are going to be covering the event live, right? So if you're a speaker, you're going to get a chance to have an interview with some really high-level media folks and get your visibility and name out there. You want to watch some of those interviews? We're going to have our own studio set up at this event. And why is all of this important? Because parents, individuals are grappling with these issues, right? Are they going to force my kid to go through a gender transition at public school if I'm not told about it? What are my rights? When I send my kid to public school, like you're doing maybe for the third week now, as school started, can they pray over their lunch meal? Could they have a club? You want to know what those rights are. If they're going to be talking about issues that are sexual in nature, am I going to be told ahead of time? How does the law work? We've got all of that information covered for you. We're going to cover all those bases. And we're going to have some people speaking that have dealt with those issues, that are the experts in law and policy, or personally they've had a situation come up that we've either helped them with or that they've tackled and they've won, right? We look at what's happening. Have you seen this story? Texas Children's Hospital is under fire. By the way, I saw an article this week that they've got some financial problems too. I'm not sure if the two are connected. Wouldn't surprise me if they are. But there are allegations that Texas Children's Hospital last year was still doing gender transition surgeries on kids, even after they told the media they were not. Dr. Eitan Heim, he was a resident at the time. He's going to speak at our event. He's called the Texas Whistleblower. Okay, there are two of them. The other Texas Children's Hospital whistleblower is Nurse Vanessa Sivage. Okay, she was a nurse. She thinks that Texas Children's Hospital is engaging in Medicaid fraud to cover up what they're doing with these gender transition and puberty blocker things on kids that are extremely controversial. We think they're dangerous, so dangerous that the state of Texas has said, we're not letting you do that. That's against the law. We're not going to let our kids be subjected to these things that are dangerous and harmful to them. So both of them, Dr. Eitan Heim and Vanessa Sivage, the two whistleblowers that are exposing the truth, in my opinion, about what's going on at Texas Children's Hospital, they're going to speak at the event. Nurse Sivage, Vanessa, she got fired last week. Did you hear about this? Right? And apparently she had made some request to get transferred in the middle of all this drama. You'd think Texas Children's Hospital would realize, hey, we got enough heat on us as it is, because Chip Roy's investigating them. The Attorney General of our state, Ken Paxton, I believe, is requested an investigation. I mean, a whole lot of people with big power have been looking at them, and they fired her. That case is far from over. She may not be able to say a whole lot because now they're in the middle of this conflict. And Dr. Eitan Heim, he's been indicted by the Department of Justice. The Biden administration is trying to put him in jail for 10 years. So hopefully they won't be in jail when our event comes up in 2.5 weeks. And I'm not saying that lightheartedly. That threat is up on them. But they're going to speak at our event. It's going to be incredible because we want you to understand how serious these issues are, what's going on. But we also want to give you an opportunity to see the people that are involved in it so you don't think it's just us talking about all the time. You can make that personal connection and bring your kids. I mean, some of these things are going to be a little tricky. I know some of the topics can be a little sensitive, so use your discretion. But the event is designed to have families there. I mean, I have to talk to my kids about some of these things sometimes, and I'm not always happy about it, but I think it's better for them to hear it from me and for me to be walking alongside them instead of in some type of social media post or somebody that reaches them through technology. So this is a Christ-like way. And by the way, the event is at a church, Great Hills Baptist Church. Tremendous host. Our good friend, our wonderful friend, Pastor Danny Forshee, continues to be a leader by having us host the event. He's going to speak there as well. A lot of great speakers at this event. But back to the email that we announced about Michael Knowles, all right? $20, lunch on Friday and Saturday. It's going to be incredible, and you get all that. Now, if you've already ordered a ticket and you're like, man, I'd love to meet Michael Knowles. Maybe I can get a picture with him. We are not guaranteeing that, okay? I don't know what he's going to decide to do. He's going to speak. It's going to be on stage. And look, that's how the event goes. So your opportunity, if you'd like to have maybe get some words of encouragement or express your gratitude towards him for talking about the hard issues and coming up with creative and thoughtful ways to engage on these issues. And, and to be on the airwaves so often, with the courage to talk about some of the difficult issues and to give some clarity to them. You want to meet in person? Maybe you want to get a picture. Maybe you want your child to be inspired by the work he's doing and, just to have a handshake. It's interesting how that happens, right? I mean, those can be moments. I remember early in my career, there was an event in Virginia, I believe, at Liberty University. And I got to meet Jay Sekulow for the first time. All right. This guy was like my hero. Okay. He was on the radio. He's a Christian lawyer. I read some of his books. I had them all underlined and highlighted. And there he was. Right. And I think I spent $300 to go to that event. I had to fly out there. But I got to meet him. I got a handshake. And I mean, it really gave me even more excitement and fortitude and confidence to say and commitment to say, this is what I want to do. I want to be like Jay someday. I see how important this work is. And I want to follow sort of in his footsteps or whatever, right? And, look what, and here I am today doing a lot of this work that he does, certainly on a more of a national level. But that handshake, getting to meet people like that could be the opportunity for you to go, you know what? This is important. You bring your child there, like my son, right? He knows what I do, but I'd love for him to be more encouraged and excited to meet someone like Michael Knowles and to know that as an 18-year-old, he's got an important role to play in our state and in our society. So if you want to do that, though, check out the VIP packages. They're upgrades that you can upgrade your ticket to increase the chances. Now, honestly, the only way for sure that we're going to create an opportunity to meet Michael Knowles, we are going to have VIP meet and greet, if you will, an opportunity to do some of that. But that's only through the President's All Access VIP package, right? We just do not have the time for this event to have some huge VIP reception with him. Now, the dinner with Mike Huckabee that night and Friday night, there is a specific VIP reception. So if you want to meet Governor Mike Huckabee that night, but during the day when we have the speakers, things are just moving really quickly. But we think we're going to create an opportunity backstage where a few people can meet Michael Knowles. I think we're only selling 10 of those packages because I can't have a flood of people back there. We got security issues. We got to be careful and so on. But if you want that opportunity that's just about certain, or that's how we're going to try to set it up, that is the President's All Access VIP package. Now, that is subject to approval by our team because just because you write us a $5,000 check and we don't know who you are, we're not just going to allow anybody back there because that puts our credibility on the line and so on. So we need to find out who you are, take a look at it and see if it's the right fit. And some of those slots are reserved for our board members. So there may not, actually, I think 3 of those have already sold. So we may be down to only 7 of those VIP packages, but we're going to make it special. And there'll be some swag bags and some other fun stuff in there too in that package. That gets you a ticket to the dinner on Friday night. There's a whole lot of good stuff in there, not just a chance to meet and greet and take a picture with Michael Knowles. But we want to create these opportunities that we know can be transformational, right? We know, every year we do the surveys, and people will write how I'm so glad that I came in person, particularly after COVID, right? In technology these days, it's easy to watch a video, to hear something on the radio or whatever. And, you can say, listen, that's good enough. I'll do a Zoom meeting and all that. And I get it. But there is still something special about being in person. How many of us go to church online, right? We went back to going to church in person because we know when we're there in person, it's a sense of community. That's the other thing. You're going to meet people there that you're like, oh my gosh, I know you. I didn't know we share the same values. Or, hey, we've never met before, but you live in my area. Maybe we can be friends and we can do some work together. And you're going to see all people around you and go, wow, there are a lot of people on our side. And you're going to get some information. We're going into a very important election. Okay. Now, this event is not a candidate event. Okay. There'll be some elected officials there, but they're going to be talking about subject matter issues. But it will give you an opportunity to say, what issues should I be thinking about? And ask some of these elected officials, right? Why do you stand for these issues? Find out who they are. Because all the Texas House members and all the U.S. House members from the state of Texas and other parts of the country too, they're all on the ballot every 2 years, right? So this November election, not just about the presidential, but certainly about that. And we're going to be talking about that. Michael Knowles, as I mentioned, did have a quote from President Trump. I'm sure he'll be talking about the dynamics of this election, the differences between the two candidates. All of that is fair play as a 501c3. We can talk about those differences and why it's important, all right? But not only that, the legislative session for the state of Texas starts in January. We're just a few months, 3 or 4 months away from that. We're going to be talking at this event what you can expect. What are the big issues, okay? One of those is the assault on our state from the casino gambling lobby, right? They want to put a casino down the street from your house in your neighborhood. Trust me, they're not looking for just one location. They're going to be all over the place, okay? We're going to be talking about that issue and why it is such a danger and a bad idea for Texas. By the way, our economy is doing pretty well without it. All right. We'll be talking about those issues. You heard me mention the Texas Children's Hospital issue and the whistleblowers. What's going on now with the Save Women's Sports issue? Title IX issues. We've got a school board member from Carroll ISD, Andrew Yeager. That's up in the North Texas area. They've been pushing back against all this stuff from the Biden administration, trying to redefine the word sex and things of that nature that would impact your young daughters and other people at public schools. We're gonna talk about those issues. Who's going to be the next Texas Speaker of the House? This is going to be a big panel, okay? Dr. Tom Oliverson, who is a candidate for Speaker of the House, is going to be on that panel. Briscoe Cain, who used to be a Dade Phelan supporter, now is not. He's going to be on that panel, and we may be adding a few more. I believe that's going to be on Saturday, okay? So there is so much to offer, and it's all relevant. It's all about what's happening now or what's coming up in the next couple of months. And I just can't recreate that experience in person, right? We'll probably put a highlight video together. We may even live stream a few of the panels and some of the talks, but you're not going to get the same experience unless you're there in person, right? So Sid Miller, okay, you got to see Sid Miller in person, all right? He's fun to watch on social media and all that, but in person, the guy's larger than life. He is a competitive cowboy still. I mean, what is he, like 70 years old? I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying, I'm 50. I can't see myself competitively on the back of a horse, competing in a rodeo. And here's this big tough guy, Sid Miller, and he wins all the time, all right? He's our agriculture commissioner. He is the real deal, right? There's this saying in Texas, you may have heard it before, all hat, no cattle. How many old schoolers out there have heard that? Which basically means that you're all kind of talk and there's really nothing behind it. Sid Miller, and I don't even know if this is the right way to say this, he's all hat and all cattle. I'm telling you, he is the real deal. And it's awesome that he's in that agriculture commission position, because that's what that field is about, right? Looking out for the rural parts of our state, the ranches and things of that nature and the farmlands. But he's going to speak at our event. He talks about a lot of our issues all the time. He's got a great bus that he drives around in, talking about how our current president has been a failure on a lot of economic issues and others. But that email about Michael Knowles went out about half an hour before we got on here on Facebook. So check it out. I think that deal's only going to be on about 48 hours. I would love to see hundreds, if not thousands, of people register. And you missed an opportunity yesterday. We did have a special sale yesterday. I think the tickets were half price. That was like for a day or two, that some people got, because we had a feeling we might be announcing Michael Knowles today. And so I can't give you that deal. That's a pretty good deal, because these events do have their costs that come with them. But you might be an underwriter. You might want to say, you know what, I want to encourage y'all to continue to have speakers of the magnitude of Michael Knowles and others, Chip Roy, Sid Miller, and things of that nature, and to do these events that people get excited about. Still an opportunity to do that. If you want to make a donation, we'll put your name up there as a sponsor. Our title sponsor, by the way, is Eagle Peak Shooting Range. Our good friend Jim Day and the tremendous resources that he has had in generosity, and also his late wife, D-Day, who passed away earlier this year, have been friends for a long time. As a matter of fact, our studio is called the Jim and D-Day Studio here at Texas Values. They are our title sponsors, okay? That means they were the most generous to make sure we could get this event off the ground. Eagle Peak Shooting Range, by the way, is in Leander. If you go west out 1431, as you're leaving Cedar Park, headed towards Jonestown, the road is literally that you turn onto called Nameless Road, and I think it's Lindeman Lane once you get over to the shooting range. Eagle Peak Shooting Range, been around for quite some time. Our good friend Jim Day owns that. We encourage you to go out there, exercise your Second Amendment rights, make sure you've got to be in good practice. I was out there a couple of days ago talking to Jim. I was out there one time, and I thought there was like a hand cannon, a bazooka. I mean, there are some big guns that they have. They're outdoors, so there's a little bit more ability to do that. But you might want to see value in what you're in your business, and you might want to show the support of what we're doing. You could be a sponsor. We could put that on a graphic. We could put that on social media, on our website. You don't necessarily have to attend the event to be a sponsor, but we would welcome that. We do have some great sponsors. Patriot Mobile. We've got First Liberty Institute. We've got our friends at Texas Homeschool Coalition, and many others, right, that are there. We've got, I'm gonna forget. We were just going over this earlier. Michelle Evans, our good friend Michelle Evans here in Williamson County, she's the Republican Party chairman, is a sponsor of the event. And I'll think of some of the other names in just a minute. But you might want to add your name to that list, right? And look, we're going to have a lot of great people there that are involved in other work, right? Our friends at iVoter Guide are going to be on a panel, right? Some of the groups we work with that are pro-life, pro-family are going to be there. Our good friends from Moms for Liberty are going to be there as well, hosting a table. We're excited about that. And just a lot of good information that you're going to have the ability to exchange, and a lot of good people to meet, while you're there that you may not have known before. But I'm super excited about the Michael Knowles announcement. Like I said, I saw him speak before. He's put out some great books, just a thoughtful and timely voice on the type of issues we work on. And, I have not seen a podcast when he's teamed up with Senator Cruz on that Verdict podcast, but I bet it's pretty good. And we need people out there like that, because you look at some of the information you get in the media and all you hear is one side, and a lot of times that stuff is not true. You've got someone like Michael Knowles who's got the courage to talk about the real issues and not to back down. And oh, by the way, he's entertaining too, right? He's got a good sense of humor. I have seen him speak before, but it'll be inspiring as well. Right? And there'll be a lot of attention around there. We're already getting, I saw some media that have now confirmed, I think since that announcement went out, that are going to be there. Our good friends at the Texans News are going to be there. I did see, I believe, someone from the Houston Chronicle and some others that'll be there, media that will be covering this. So you might be a part of that. Maybe you're watching our Facebook page and you've got a media outlet and you want to cover the event. We welcome that. We do have media badges and those things of that nature. And look, it's getting harder and harder to do these events as expenses go up under a Biden administration, all right? As expenses go up in the economy that we're in, but also, people, and I'm not saying that with Great Hills Baptist, but other people that are in this industry after COVID, things have gotten a lot more expensive. We're still keeping it affordable to you. So just today, I think, maybe 24, 48 hours, $20 tickets. That's a reduced price. It includes lunch on Friday and Saturday for our 2-day policy event. And look, we're going to talk about issues like what's going on today at Austin City Council. We got a member of our team over there because the Austin City Council continues to try to push back from the rest of the state and try to advance a pro-abortion agenda. They want to use your tax dollars, and I do live in the city of Austin, you may, to help women travel out of the state so they can take the life of their baby. They're going to leave the state to go have an abortion somewhere else when we have a welcoming environment here in the state of Texas. We're comprehensively pro-life. It's not just about the baby. It's also about the mom. The state of Texas has a fund that allocates $130 million every 2 years for nonprofit entities that are designed to help moms and babies through this process. And the baby can get support all the way up to 3 years, right? Our good friends at John Paul II Life Center, by the way, I believe are involved in that program. They are sponsors of our policy event, the Texas Faith Fest. Let us know, by the way, do you like that name we switched? Because it's so long. The Texas Values, Faith, Family, and Freedom Forum, all right? That's a mouthful. So we were like, let's shorten it. Texas Faith Fest, okay? So that's what we're switching to. Let us know if you like that name. We got a website now, TexasFaithFest.com, just for the event. I like it. It hashtags easier, right? Faith Fest 24 or something of that nature. And that's kind of where our culture's moved, right? It's a very small amount of words. And I realize I'm talking really fast and loud. I do this in the car all the time, by the way. I was traveling to San Antonio with one of my sons. My other son is down there going to college, and we're getting a vehicle down there for him that was getting some work. And my other son was in the car. He was like, Dad, you realize how loud you talk when you're on the phone in the car? I'm like, yeah, I know. All right. So I get like that in the studio too. All right. So if I'm shouting, I apologize. Some of that is my own excitement. Okay. I've been doing this work for over 20 years. I love it when we get a speaker that we haven't had before that I know is in high demand and is very important to some of the work we do. And so this morning I was like, done. Michael Knowles all day today. We're going to be talking about it because I know how difficult it is to put these events together, but also I know how transformational it can be when people come to these events. We want to produce a product, if you will, an event that meets, if not exceeds, your expectations. I want it to be special, right? I want you to forget about that there's a football game on Saturday that maybe you're missing. Now, the UT game, by the way, for those that are in the Austin area, doesn't start until 6:30 or 7 that night. You want to know why? Because I'm going, okay? I'm going to be there at that game, so I'm going to scoot out as soon as the event is over, too, on Saturday. So Friday from 10 to 4, Saturday 9 to 4, is the Texas Faith Fest, our 2-day event that's coming up on September 13th and 14th. And so, look, and I mentioned, this is our 7th year in a row to do this. There's always, some risk you're taking, trying to find the right time, the right speakers. Is it going to resonate? Are people going to be interested in talking about these topics? Every now and then there's protests and people out, nearby that don't like what we're doing. We've increased our security since those days, but it's worth it. And this is what we do, right? We want you to get more comfortable engaging publicly. One thing you might do, and I might make the suggestion at our event, is you might want to get a puppy. Okay? I found out that's one of the best ways to start conversations in your neighborhood. I have been running, walking, and biking, a variety of ways. I've made my way around our neighborhood for the past 3 years since we moved to that particular area. And people say hi. I'm kind of chatty, so I'm like, hi, whatever. But a lot of people just, maybe wave, kind of look at you. A lot of people don't say anything, right? And so it just so happened we got a puppy over the summer. And so who's walking the dog most? Dad is. Okay, fine. I like to do it. My little boy, Red. Okay, that's our mini golden doodle. His name is Red. He does kind of look red. He looked a little bit more red when he was a puppy. Nonetheless, oh my gosh, conversations every single time I'm out there. Oh, cute dog, this and that. And then inevitably, sometimes people talk about current issues. Oh, I saw you had a, whatever sign in your yard or this and that, or they kind of, I was wearing a hat that may have had a particular candidate on it. And I started talking about issues. You might find yourself there and go, gosh, what do I say? How do I touch on this topic? Or, what are they going to say if they, what am I going to say if they ask me a question? And so that's one of the things you'll get at our event. You'll get so many opportunities. As a matter of fact, the little program that goes along with this event usually just has names of speakers and maybe an announcement at an event that we're having in the future. This time, it's going to be much more robust. It's going to be almost like this, resource that you want to keep with a lot of information about what's going on our issues, what your rights are, and all that good stuff. So something to look forward to. But excuse me. Oh, before I forget, we're going to have some new items, all right? A new hat we put together this year, and you're going to see it at the event. You probably can't tell here because I'd have to hold it really close. These are little red crosses that make up these red stripes in the American flag. I'm so excited about that. You go to Academy and you'll see them do this in different ways, like little fish or a Longhorn logo or whatever. Your favorite sports team, they'll kind of make up, these lines in an American flag. And so I was like, let's do a cross, right? So you're going to see this at the event. The newest edition of the Texas Values tumbler with the In God We Trust shield there, if you will, a 30-ouncer, okay, from our good, from the people at Arctic. So there'll be a lot of different products and, things like that, swag bags, a lot of fun stuff. A lot of items we're going to have that are going to highlight the Save Women's Sports issue. Good grief, has that issue absolutely exploded. I felt like we were the only ones talking about it for a while. Then a lot of other people got involved. Then Riley Gaines got involved, and it was really interesting. Now we've got, all kinds of sports figures, commentators, right? the guy that I'm trying to think of from ESPN, Game Day, right? One of their most famous hosts, right? And now I can't remember his name. I'll think of it in a second. Came out. Showed his support for Save Women's Sports. And you're like, wow, you turn around and you've got people now that are being more and more vocal about these issues, right? And you wonder, you have to believe they felt that way all along, but whether or not it was the right time or appropriate. And I just see more and more people that are talking about those issues, right? So it's going to really bug me if I forget his name. So I'll try to pull it up in just a second and remember the sports figure that I'm talking about. But look, if you go on social media every day, you're seeing more and more people, athletes, right? There's a LPGA golfer recently. Thank you, Ashley. Who is this that I'm forgetting? Kirk Herbstreit. Herbie, how could I forget? Okay. He's probably one of the most well-recognized brands and commentators on ESPN. There's no doubt. Sharp-looking guy, athletic, articulate, very smart, knows his work, and he's really the ESPN College Game Day brand. There's other personalities. Lee Corso, a lot of fun. Of course, Reese Davis and some of the people that are part of it. But Kirk Herbstreit, the guy he's in other settings too. A week or so ago started talking about it and sort of in the reverse. Like, of course, I support the Save Women's Sports issue. And I don't think men should be competing in women's sports. I think he lives in Texas, by the way. And so I love that more and more people are part of this conversation. But it's needed because the pushback has been tremendous at times, or just the arrogance, or just people just sort of ignoring it. It's become an election issue. The Democrats had a vote. There was a vote in Congress, in D.C. Every single Democrat that voted against a bill just to protect women from having men compete against them in sports. Sadly, there's a difference between the parties, but there are a lot of Democrats that have said they're with us on these issues. And you're seeing that, right? You're seeing Democrats that are now supporting President Trump, Tulsi Gabbard and others, RFK Jr. And so you're seeing a lot of these issues we work on that they cut party lines, right? And that is causing some people to move and decide who they vote for. So we're going to talk about all those issues at our policy forum. So much to offer, right? Educate, motivate, and activate you on the issues of faith, family, and freedom. But make sure you got that email. If you didn't, you need to sign up for our email list, okay? Because you'd have gotten the information before this podcast and this, Facebook Live and show today that Michael Knowles has confirmed he will be what we will consider and label as the keynote speaker for our policy forum we're now calling the Texas Faith Fest. I'm not going to tell you yet which day he's speaking on, but we will soon. All right, but you're not going to want to miss it when he does speak, because it's going to be one of the most notable and important moments in this event's history, and this is the 7th year that we've done it. And so, $5 discount, $20 today and maybe tomorrow only. 2-day event, lunch on Friday, lunch on Saturday, and we're probably going to have coffee and snacks throughout these 2 days because it's a large chunk of time to keep you there. There's going to be a lot of booths, other groups there. You can find other information about what else is going on, people you might want to learn about. You might want to tell them about your work, how y'all can collaborate. But over 30 speakers, I think close to 40 speakers in 2 days. Chip Roy, Sid Miller, Mary Margaret Olahan, who's a top reporter now for the Daily Signal. You've got State Representative Briscoe Kane, Tom Oliverson, Ellen Troxclair, Senator Bob Hall. Governor Mike Huckabee is going to be at our dinner on the Friday night. Too many names to list, okay? Go to the website, texasfaithfest.com, or just go to our main website, txvalues.org. Get those tickets, $5 discount. That's just general admission. You want a little upgrade? You want more of experience? You want to be on Lake Travis overlooking the lake and see the most incredible sunset in the world. I'm telling you. And this is at the top of the Oasis. This is an outdoor where it's kind of warm if you've been to that restaurant. It's indoors. There will be plenty of AC, but we're going to step out on the balcony with Mike Huckabee and watch the sunset and hear the bells ring out there, because that's what they do when the sun sets at the Oasis. This is worth the price of admission just to go have dinner and see Mike Huckabee out there and have an experience you won't forget. You can stay at a hotel out there too. All that information we've got connected for you at texasfaithfest.com. Hey, listen, as you're out there on Friday Night Lights, if you're going to be participating in that in this week, don't forget about your religious freedom that you have. The students have, the teachers have, the staff has, because the Supreme Court ruled on the Coach Kennedy case. Coach Kennedy will be at our event. Check out our website you want for some more information. And we're involved in work this week at the State Board of Education in a variety of other fronts. If you see value in our work, please consider a tax-deductible donation today at txvalues.org. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our budget with our other organization is collectively close to $2 million. That's how we hire, put a lot of people on the ground, get a lot of good work done. It does take some finances to do that. So we would appreciate your donations. We're about to wrap up summer, but donations can get very tough during summer. So in the middle of all this work we're doing this week, we've got this big event coming up, the Texas Faith Fest on September 13th and 14th. We're also partnering with our friends at God's Not Dead to help support and promote their newest movie in the God's Not Dead series. The newest one is called God's Not Dead, In God We Trust. And it has an election theme. I don't want to spoil it, but the main actor, David A.R. White, who plays a pastor in all of the series of the movies, is running for office. That's all I'm going to say in the movie. Timely topic, if you will. But we want to tell you to go out and see the movie. 2 opportunities to see the movie with us. All right, September 9th in Fort Worth, or September 15th on a Sunday evening here in the Austin area. And then we're going to be on the red carpet. I can't give you tickets to that. It's a private event on September 4th up in Southlake. But I think David A.R. White is also not only appreciative of our support of the movie, he wants to show us support and let everybody know that they should come to our event at the TexasFaithFest.com. So I think he's got an announcement that we're going to run here.
Hey, Texas friends, it's David A.R. White from the God's Not Dead franchise, and we have a new movie coming out the second week of September. Our friends at Texas Values are partnering with us to promote this movie, but they also have this amazing event on September 13th and 14th, where you can see a clip of the movie and learn more about your rights of freedoms on faith, family, and life in Texas. So we encourage you to get tickets right now for the God's Not Dead movie and tickets for the Texas Faith, Family, and Freedom Forum for Texas Values. Go to txvalues.org. That's txvalues.org. God bless you, and I look forward to sharing this movie with you.
Thanks, David. We appreciate you. Your movie's going to be awesome. Our event's going to be incredible. We're glad to partner and collaborate with you on this, all in the name of our Lord Jesus. A lot of stuff to check out. Go to our website, txvalues.org. Make that investment in faith, family, and freedom today. And that's how together we'll protect these values in the state of Texas. God bless you, and we'll talk to you next week on the Texas Values Report.